Hi, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you've enjoyed the day today. I've really been into this investigation as far as what this mysterious illness is that's affecting dogs across the country. Now, first off, to tell you some promising news coming out of New Hampshire from researchers there. This is coming from the University of New Hampshire's Veterinary Diagnosis Lab, as well as the Hubbard Center for Genome Studies. So here it is. Researchers there are now reporting they have identified a pathogen that could be the root cause of this illness. Now, bear with me here because there's a lot of scientific stuff that we'll try to break down. NBC News spoke with these researchers who compared genetic samples from two groups of dogs. First group, 30 dogs from New Hampshire infected last year, okay? And then you've got this second group, another 40 dogs who got sick this year from the neighboring states or nearby states of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And that's how they say they discovered what they're calling an unknown germ. One doctor there calling it a quote, funky, those are his words, funky bacterium, smaller than the size of normal bacteria. And because of these differences, he's saying it's a weird bacterium that can be tough to find and sequence and then obviously discover what it is and how to treat it. Now, this germ, they say, is, quote, new as a potential cause of the disease, but it's likely to be or have evolved from the dog biome, meaning dogs as well as us humans. We have many types of harmless bacteria and other organisms living inside and outside the body. So back to those two groups of dogs they studied, 21 of the original 30 samples had the same genetic material from one atypical bacterial species, meaning the illness, bottom line here, the illness can outsmart the dog's immune system. Now, yesterday, I've spoken with and heard from many, many veterinarians, and they're reporting that this so-called mystery illness has led to thousands of dogs getting sick, maybe even more, and sadly, even leading to several dogs, as we have confirmed, have died from this. So, looks like there's a race against time here, really, to find out what is it and how can it be treated. That's what a whole lot of people are asking, from researchers to dog lovers, with our dog lovers as our four-legged family members. All right, so here's what we know so far. Again, it's important to know not a lot is known about this illness, but there are many, many similarities in the cases reported so far. So with all that said, what is happening outside the research lab, right? Maybe your home, hopefully not. As far as we have heard from dog lovers across the country, this illness begins with a dog coughing, and that can last, Aja, my dog, that can last for not just several days, but several weeks. Initial symptoms include the cough, the runny eyes, sneezing, there's nasal or eye discharge. That's most vets say that. And then the typical cough will then progress to more of a wet cough. That typical cough, a wet cough, and your dog really has no energy, becomes very lethargic, and then you may notice your dog's respiration rate or respiratory rate and breathing is increasing. Their gums might even turn blue or purple. And vets agree that if you see this in your dog, you should bring them in to be checked out right away, sooner rather than later, because as we know, this can lead to pneumonia. And that doesn't respond to the antibiotics we have right now. And if it does lead to pneumonia, that can lead to severe illness or even death, as we've reported. And we're only talking about a relatively short amount of time here with the pneumonia, 24 to 36 hours. So we talked about New Hampshire already. That is where it is happening right now, cases. And a few other states right now, at least, that have reported cases include, again, nearby Massachusetts on the border, nearby Rhode Island. Then there's Colorado, California, Indiana, Illinois, Washington, Idaho, Georgia, Florida, all those states. And just yesterday, at least one case of it confirmed in Iowa. Now, some vets in Oregon believe that may be ground zero where this may have begun. State officials saying they received more than 200 reports from vets around the state since the beginning of August, going on to say a, quote, very small percentage of dogs in that state have died. Now, if you're familiar with Lee Asher and the dog sanctuary he has in Oregon, I've watched some of his videos. One of them said he was sad to report, obviously so sad to report, that they lost one of the dogs, Rue, who also showed these symptoms. Now, a vet we heard from in South Des Moines, Iowa, and again, the case confirmed yesterday, the symptoms are common for many illnesses, but when she runs the tests for this all come back negative. So it's causing a cough, but where it's coming from and everything that comes after it, this vet, like other vets, don't know. So typically, vets say to figure out what antibiotics work best against this type of bacteria, they grow these bugs in a petri dish in the labs and then try to kill them with different medications. Now, researchers haven't been able to grow this new bacteria in the lab for obvious reasons. They don't know about it. So one thing the research has shown, one of our vets says, is that the shape or structure of the bacteria has given them clues about what medications could, an emphasis on the word could, be suggested as antibiotics. One of them, he says, doxycycline. People take that. But again, that's just his recommendation. Nothing official so far. One veterinarian we heard from out of Nashville, Tennessee, lots of questions, like how many dogs are out there who are asymptomatic or with mild symptoms or with the severe type of the disease, and then getting secondary pneumonia. That's right, secondary pneumonia. The number of cases really unknown at this point. The reason, again, they don't have an actual name for this or a diagnosis. And then there's all the travel for the holiday, a record number of people, maybe even you, your family members, your friends, expected to travel. And just really a few days before this, it got onto the national radar that experts were recommending that dog owners keep their pets out of the kennels, or their family members out of the kennels, dog parks, dog groomers, anywhere the infection could be, because of just too many dogs and a lot of close contact with those dogs. That seems to be one of the themes from a lot of veterinarians. But bottom line here, one vet telling Good Morning America, it's similar to what many humans did to avoid getting COVID, her words, to isolate the dog. And she says, get medical attention ASAP. So even the federal government is getting involved with this. The USDA, their Animal and Plant Inspection Service, they are saying that they're working with animal health officials and diagnostic labs. They're baffled too. The feds are baffled. So one of the things, though, they can confirm now at least is that there are no reports of human illness in connection with all of this. So essentially right now, all eyes on those researchers we told you about in the beginning of this video in New Hampshire who could crack the code on this mystery illness. And again, the big advice right now from the vets is do not take them to, or avoid at all costs taking them to doggy daycare, to the doggy park, to the dog groomer, anywhere dogs congregate or there are a lot of dogs together. As that one vet had said, again, it's important to note here, it's a COVID-like precaution, she said, to isolate the dogs as much as possible from other dogs, at least for now, she says, until some development here is made. And again, we're hoping that those researchers from New Hampshire can really crack this case and tell us what is happening to our animals right now. And hopefully that's sooner rather than later. Of course, we will bring you the developments in this case as soon as they happen.